What's going on, you guys? Slim here, back again with another video for you guys. You already know we're still on the OTS championship profile grind. If you guys are new here, consider subscribing. Be sure to hit that notification bell. You guys be notified whenever I upload. And yeah, you guys, like I said, unfortunately we are in lockdown as far as Yu-Gi-Oh goes. Everyone knows that. The latest update we have is that maybe we'll return to competitive play in the middle of May, which would be awesome because that would mean that we would return and have YCS Pasadena. If not, well, then we got to just keep waiting it out until more events are announced after everything is dealt with that's going on in the world with the coronavirus. But hopefully everyone is staying healthy, staying indoors, staying away from people. Social distancing seems to be the thing that people are practicing right now. I know it's hard for anyone that wants to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but luckily for us we do have the online platforms to play, so we can still play our game, and I'm very happy for that. I want to shout out my boy Dominic Foster for sending me his list though. Like I said, I got a bunch of lists, you guys, and they're gonna just be coming in random order. Trust me, I'm just trying to build the decks and then get them out to you, maybe a video a day for the next couple days would be good. Like I said, I'll be having my own live profiles as well coming soon. I just wanted to prioritize everyone else's profile since they took the time to send me their list and give me their little tourney reports and everything. But yeah, my boy Dominic played GREN MAJU Stun, as you guys can see. Huge fan of this deck. I really like GREN MAJU. Everyone knows this. He actually went undefeated in Swish, which is something I wanted to highlight. Congrats, bro. That's insane. Like, this deck is nuts. This deck is Floodgate Central, yes, but the deck is really cool. With all the crazy decks we have going around this format, it's cool to see people are still trying strategies out with GREN MAJU. And he decided to go a route that we don't really see that much. The stun build has not been that popular, but it's awesome to see that he had success with it. He ended up getting 3rd overall, but that does still secure you your invite to nationals. Hopefully we do have nationals, but congrats to him. I'm just going to go into the list and just talk about a couple things he wanted me to mention. This is an awesome deck for anyone that's trying to play like a stun deck, like an anti-meta deck. If you are able to get a hold of Extravagance, once it has the reprint, you'll definitely be able to play this deck. But yeah, anyways, I'm going to get into the list. So for the monsters, he played 2 copies of Fossil Dyna Pachycephalo. This card is nuts. This card is an OG card. Literally neither player can special summon monsters while it's face up on the board. If it's flip faced up, it destroys all special summon monsters on the field. It's absolutely crazy. This backed up with Floodgates' game most of the time. If the opponent's deck relies completely on special summoning and they have no solid normal summons that can get over Fossil Dyna, it's usually game. If you equip Fossil Dyna with Moonmirror Shield, it's pretty much game every time too, because this card just gets around everything they do. So overall, Fossil Dyna is insane this format. If you guys are familiar with the BA Block Dragon deck, they play this card and special it off Saryuja, and it's terrifying. It literally just locks you out of playing the game. So this card is nuts in this deck. Very, very cool stun monster. He played 2 copies of Gizmek Orochi. You already know how much I love this card. This card is amazing in tandem with the GREN MAJU strategy. This card can get you game out of nowhere. Just coming from the graveyard is awesome. Being able to pop cards is awesome. Huge fan of this card, always will be. I personally would have played 3 if it were up to me, but I completely understand playing 2. A lot of times is, yes, GREN MAJU is like an alternate win strategy, but you don't want to banish your whole deck and then run out of steam, so 2 seems perfect. Of course, the man of the hour, 3 copies of GREN MAJU Deeza. You guys know how much I love this card, one of my favorite decks of all time so far. Definitely a deck that I do have on the side. I'm actually working on my own stun build. If you guys do want to see that, comment below and I will profile that in the future. You guys have seen my iterations of GREN MAJU, the castle build, as well as the danger build, which is one of my favorite decks. I'll definitely show you guys though, similar to this, a build, stun build, because I really like the way this deck operates. And then you've got the 3 copies of Border. This card is game by itself. This card is disgusting. Like, this card is literally summon Border, set back row, go. You got no out? Okay, that's game. Yeah, it's pretty much how that goes. And then I really like that he decided to main deck as well 2 copies of Thunder King Ryo. Rest in peace, my baby Colossus, but this was the OG of stopping your opponent from adding cards from deck to hand. Is crazy. This card is still insane in 2020. The opponent just doesn't see it coming. You start with this, again, followed up with some back rows, some floodgates. The opponent just can't play the game, and if they can't play the game, I mean, you're gonna win. You're just gonna beat down with Thunder King. And 1900 is nothing to laugh at. And very few decks actually play a normal summon monster that outs this card, so very, very cool. Also can be negate as summon of an extra deck monster, so that's very cool as well. So that's it for the monsters. It's very clean monster lineup at 12. 1 copy of Dimensional Fissure. There's no reason not to play this card. All your monsters get banished. This is very strong against Salamangreat, very strong against Spiral, very strong against any deck that wants their monsters in the graveyard. You literally just banish everything and they just lose out to that, so it's pretty crazy. 2 copies of Moonmirror Shield. This card is also disgusting. This backed up on a Inspector Border, backed up on a Fossil Dyna or a Thunder King even, can be game. It always gets over the opponent's monster by 100. ridiculous, and it's reusable. If this card, I believe that this card, what is it? If it goes to the graveyard, you can pay 500, put it back on the top of your deck, something like that. Yep, exactly. It's been a while since I played this card, but yeah, this card is crazy. 2 copies of Desires. As you guys can see, GREN MAJU is part of the deck, but is not the main win condition. You're winning off your, your floodgate monsters like Fossil Dino or Border or Thunder King, and you're using Desires to draw cards, banish for GREN MAJU, but it's not, like I said, the main win condition. It's not a GREN MAJU deck 100%. GREN MAJU is just a part of it, so 2 copies of Desires is fine. 3 copies of Duality, no reason not to play this. You're a very slow tempo deck. You get a lot of advantage off of Duality. Just being able to see your card is important. 3 copies of Extravagance. Again, this card will be reprinted soon, so everyone will have access to this, so I actually won't be surprised when people actually start playing decks like this and other decks that required Extravagance before, so it's awesome. That's it for the spells. On to the traps. 2 copies of Compulse. Compulse is crazy. Just being able to bounce back a problematic card is fantastic. With the new ruling, if you guys saw those new rulings that came out for OCG, which will transfer here to the TCG eventually, Compulse gets even better. So being able to spin a card off and then it not resolving is crazy. You've got the 2 copies of Crackdown. Card's great. Just take your opponent's monsters. Stop anything that gets in your way. 2 copies of Dark Bribe. One thing he wanted to mention is that he chose to main deck Dark Bribe in this deck. A lot of people go back and forth with Dark Bribe, but he felt that with so many copies of Lightning Storm, Evenly, Twin, all those cards around that really do hurt decks like this, he felt that it was absolutely necessary to play this card in the main deck, and I agree 100%. You definitely need to have more outs to Lightning Storm, especially this format. Plus, you always are wary of Twin Twister, any kind of back row removal, so Bribe is just a great card for that. 1 copy of Imperial Order. He doesn't play that many spells. This can be a blowout, though, against decks that rely on spells, like the Shaddoll deck, Shaddoll Invoke deck. You can literally just flip this, and if they don't have a quick play Shaddoll Fusion, like if they go Shaddoll Fusion, you flip Order, they don't have El Shaddoll Fusion, game's pretty much over. They can't play with their spells, they can't play with their fusion cards, they pretty much lose. 1 macro, similar to D-Fissure, but better. It literally just wipes everything, like everything gets banished, so this card is nuts. Like I said, against Salad, against Spiral, against any deck that wants cards in their graveyard, this card is just an utter blowout. 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. There's no reason not to. This card is fantastic. Basically says no to everything. 3 copies of Strike. Negate pretty much any of the special summons. Really good against Pendulum too. Just wiping the whole summon. So this is very, very strong. I definitely agree with maxing out on them. I also like that he didn't play Solemn Warning. I really felt that when that card came back to 3, no one was really going to play it. The card is a high investment of 2,000 points, whereas Strike is way better going second, whereas Warning sucks going second. So it's definitely a good call to just play Strike in the main deck. 2 copies of Summon Limit. He says is one of his MVPs. Makes sense. Stopping the opponent to only summoning twice per turn is crazy. Most decks get hurt like that. Most decks just want to summon endless times. Even if they play around Nibiru, that's still 4 summons, still 3 summons. It's usually more than 2, so Summon Limit literally just locks you out of the game with that. So very, very strong choice. And then 3 copies if there can only be 1. Card is still very strong against most decks of the format. It's not good against everything, but it does come up in most matchups, so I think it was very smart to still main deck this card, because there's a lot of decks that get hurt by this card. So yeah, that's his main deck, is 42 cards. His side deck, we got 1 copy of Prankatops. It's at 1. No reason not to play it. The card's very solid. 2 copies of Lightning Storm. One of the best cards in the game right now. Good against back row decks. Good against overextension board decks. If you basically negate their board and then board wipe them, they lose. 3 copies of Super Poly. Obviously, comes up against most decks. Being able to just Super Poly away anything in your way is fantastic. You got the 2 copies of Anti-Spell. Obviously, if you're going first, really good against the spell decks. Really good against the pendulum decks that can't play. 3 copies of Evenly, standard, one of the best cards in the game right now. You have to play this card. I say it every video. 3 copies of Heavy Storm Duster. For any kind of like mirror match-ish / back row deck matches, comes up a lot, so a very strong card in general. And it's also better than playing Twin Twisters. You don't have to discard any cards. Cosmic Cyclone, you're not paying the life points. So this and Lightning Storm are just very strong options for similar matches like that. Then you get the 3rd copy of Summon Limit. Like he said, he wishes he would have played the 3rd one in the main deck, but he's got it in the side deck at least, so it can come in for games 2 and 3. That's it for the side. And then the extra real quick is all damn near Super Poly targets. So you got 3 copies of Dragos Stapelia. It's a fusion monster and a dark monster. Comes up against Shaddolls a lot. You just literally Super Poly away. 3 copies of Violet Chimera, Solomon Great. 3 copies of Starving Venom, any kind of dark deck. 3 copies of Armaduke. This is strictly for spirals. You literally break their board with this and then just play. Then you've got the 1 Phoenix, which is the utility link, and the 2 copies of Linkuriboh. So if anyone is wondering why he played Linkuriboh, he actually mentioned this to me for people who don't actually know, because some people like to clarify it. So Linkuriboh is for the Dino token from Lost World, because when you get Lost Worlded and you have the token on your side of your board, you cannot target anything on your opponent's side of the board. So you actually have to get rid of that token first. So this is a very solid option. Literally costs you nothing and gets a Link Creepo on the board, which can help protect some of your monsters. So that is a very, very solid option indeed. So yeah, that's all I got to say, you guys, though. I hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. GREN MAJU Stun is a fantastic deck this format. For anyone that's an anti-meta player, it gives you options. Again, don't be hindered by this. The reprint will be coming soon, and once we get back into regulatory play, we're definitely going to see a lot more decks like this. And I really like these decks. They remind me of old school Yu-Gi-Oh! And yes, I know they're not very interactive, but think about it. Would you rather try to build a board, break a board, or, you know, just play, you know, 1v1 with your opponent? It's really hard to say, like, which deck is correct in Yu-Gi-Oh! Anymore, because you have your stun decks, you have your control decks, you have your build-a-board decks, you have all your wombo combo crazy decks, but at the end of the day, people are going to play what they want to play. And overall, I really like this deck. You guys know how much I love GREN MAJU. I love the whole strategy behind it. I think it's an awesome card. I think Gizmek is an awesome card. And it's cool to see something else besides the Danger build and the Golden Castle build, so I'm all for it. But yeah, that's it, you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a comment down below your thoughts on the list, as well as a thumbs up. It really helps the video out, and I do appreciate it. Like I said, we'll be having more profiles coming soon, so stay tuned. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you for watching.